Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're all doing well, and welcome to this community showdown. It's going to be the Lizardmen led by Hitman Hippo facing off against the Beastmen, who shall be helmed by Tim the Wilder here on the Khazar's Cursed Oasis, and it looks like it's going to be a big old dino monster mash with the Shredder of Lustria as well as Nakai, which have a pretty fun synergy. He does have some nice auras with his golden tributes, and ooh, we do also have a Skink Oracle on the Troglodyte, which does have access to two of the better spells in the game, Earthblood as well as Flock of Doom. So what I was saying about Nakai here, for old Hitman Hippos, he does have the golden tributes. Let's see if he brought it. Yes, he did. So that gives ward save as well as vigor. So that's really, really good with big monsters, which of course are penalized pretty heavily for being tired. Well, everything in this game is, but you know, when you really have so much invested in a huge beast, you're going to want it to be fresh and ready to party. So for the lizard build, as you can see, it's very tiny, very elite. A couple of big heavy hitters, a lot of terror. What it's going to be trying to do is fight in really isolated positions and kind of slow push its way out. We're going to see if it's going to work against the great Tim the Wilder. So for Tim on the other side, Gore Herds, Ungor Spears, he does also have a couple bows as well. So Ungor Raiders are pretty much auto take. And yeah, you know, the peppering fire and their ability to stalk and creep up on things, what's not to love? We do also have Pestigores in the mix. Interesting choice. I would have actually thought in this matchup that the Zangor would be better, but maybe Tim was expecting to run into Temple Guard or some sort of an elite lizard build on the ground. I guess Pestigores against Saurus. I wonder what would do better. I feel like the Zangor would just be more resilient in staying power. And of course, the fact that it has shields against Lizard Skirmish is also quite big with the prevalence of Skink Skirmishers and Chameleons. But I don't really know. We'll have to see. And yeah, so very, very wide build, a lot of Nurgle infantry. And his lord is going to be a Doom Bull. Doom Bulls are pretty damn good fighters. They pack a heavy punch, and they do have this dazed ability. So when they punch you, and even punch a big monster, it's going to be slowing it down, making it harder to escape. And on top of that, these bad boys do lower the melee defense of the target. So pretty damn cool in Slaughterer's Call as well. Butchers of Kalkengard, and that's going to be it. So the objective is going to be grabbed by the Beastmen out of the gates. Tim the Wilder does have a much wider army, so he's going to have a little bit more agency on the battlefield, whereas the dinosaurs going to be advancing up, heading towards objective trace right here. We do see these Skink Skirmishers sitting back and shooting a couple very loose blow darts here into the Ungors, which are simply going to be retreating. And the Skink Oracle is going to want to be shooting its Troglodyte's anti-large shots into the Minotaurs or into the Doom Bull. Those are for sure going to be the best choices. So the Shredder of Lustria, I guess it's in its natural habitat a little bit. There are some trees nearby, although this is a desert, so probably actually not very enjoyable for the mighty beast as it just phases through the tree. The old ones, certainly their magic is strong in this world here, but so far it is a 2-to-1 objective cap in favor of Tim the Wilder, and I'm sure he's more than happy to play the situation as the Beastmen army is going to be enveloping the Lizardmen, so you do see the Pestigores and other troopers getting a bit of a surround here. And now we got Saurus Warriors. Excuse me. Oh, Saurus Warriors, I'm too weak. Damn, yeah, no, something got caught there. But nonetheless, it is going to be Saurus Warriors getting called in, and these bad boys should be able to get up and, honestly trade really well into the Pestigores. Pestigores have pretty damn low melee defense at 25, and Saurus Warriors, one of the downsides of Saurus, if you just look at them as a raw combat unit, is their base stat line isn't the best. They make up for it by being super durable and having really high weapon strength. But if they're fighting units that have lower melee defense, they can really shine and take them to the club. So we do see the Shredder moving in. Does manage to run over some of the Ungors and instantly terror routes those bad boys. So they're going to be fleeing the scene as there is a countercharge coming in from the Doom Bull as well as the Butchers of Kalkengard. And back retreats the Shredder of Lustria, going to be falling back behind the Skink cohorts. And the Skink Oracle also managed to get in there and disrupt the archers a little bit. So very clean play from Hitman Hippo in terms of that engagement. But again, time is not on his side. As soon as he leads this objective, I'm sure that Tim is going to be coming in like a vulture here with all of his mobile infantry trying to get that point. We do see the Ungors as well as the Gore Herds and the archers concaving in. And obviously for Hitman Hippo, he needs to make his way towards the other objectives. Looks like the Saurus are going to be on their way in now. And we do see the dreaded Shredder. It does have its Howdah ammo, so the little skinks on top are going to be perpetually throwing the javelins, which gets you decent damage over the course of a long game, but I'm surprised that he's just going to be relinquishing this objective so easily. Now, the caster for Tim is going to be a Melkoth's caster as well as Pit of Shades. Pit of Shades is basically you want to use that against like Temple Guard or Elite Lizard builds, and Melkoth is kind of a generalist ability. It's good against infantry, it's good against cav, whatever. So Colin here is going to be more Croxigores. Good spanking paddles, and there are a lot of infantry on Tim's side that are going to be very vulnerable against the Croxigore paddles. Here we do have the Skink Skirmishers moving up, and Tim is going to be retreating back with the Beastmen, so the Pestigores do fall back at this point. And now I think the Dinos are going to make a play for the point. Sending in the Skink cohorts and the Shredder of Lustria, it is time for Mortal Kombat, as there is some counterplay from the Beastmen. Beastmen going to be getting some throwing axes in here, but they do get caught by the Shredder of Lustria, and they are going to be forced to retreat. That is for damn sure, as they take a decent amount of HP damage, about 10%. The Shredder is in good shape, and Nakai is nearby providing support and auras. So here we do see the Lizardmen pulling back with their skirmishers, getting ready to send in the Saurus Warriors. Saurus Warriors are just a solid infantry unit, very good. They make Lizardmen just feel so stable to play, right? They just never fold up quickly. They always kind of trade back, even against things that you think they would struggle against. Their high weapon strength really shows through there. So Shredder is shredding, and the Ungor Raiders getting roasted back as the Shredder now is going to be making its way over towards the Ungor Spears. We're going to see what kind of trample damage it can do. Yeah, terror is really big here. We see mass terror going down. These Ungor just fleeing the scene. Oh my god, look at the amount of HP damage that Shredder did. You know, that's like when I pay 3,200 gold for a monster, that is the kind of work I want to see when I'm facing absolutely crap units. Like, if that was the Kadai Destroyer, it would have done like no damage and would probably be crumbling right now. It would just be in the pits of hell, right? But yeah, Tim does have a rock hard triple cap. However, I mean, the Lizardmen are massively out trading the Beastmen in terms of just value. And, you know, when you get their healing involved here in a minute, it's only going to be worse, right? Oh, Nakai versus Doom Bull, let's go. Looks like Nakai, oh man, the blue ball's right there. He's like, oh, you know what, I'm going to go fight something else. But yeah, I thought he was going to go after the Doom Ball, but no, he's going to Doom Ball. I guess it is Doom Ball too. But he wants to get his aura in here, help break the Butchers of Kalkengard, and support the Croxagors, which is honestly probably a better play than chasing that Doom Bull around. But yeah, big fight here, and we do see a massive amount of impact damage going down to the Beastmen army, and there's going to be some Witchcraft going down, Pit of Shades from Tim the Wilder. Very nice cast there. It's going to be hitting the Saurus Warriors. Primal Roar is active, though. Man, look at the Beastmen army getting clobbered here. These Butchers of Kalkengard being taken apart by Nakai, the Shredder of Lestria, Croxagors, and Saurus Warriors, who all have plus 40 melee attack. Those Saurus Warriors are rocking 104 melee attack right now, which is absolutely bonkers. And that's going to be crushing through the Beastmen resistance. But the thing is, are the Lizards going to be able to play the objectives? I mean, he relinquished the objectives for a large portion of this game. I'm really surprised he gave up Objective 3 so easily when he'd have control of that. That would have certainly stemmed the bleeding a little bit, but now the Beastmen are most likely, in a minute at least, going to get pushed off this point. But Tim is getting some good value back as he does have 3 Ungor Raiders shooting into the Shredder of Lestria. And despite having 120 armor, you know, even if it's 1 damage at a time, all these little haggard archers will kind of start to diminish your HP, especially if there are some Centaurs or throwing axes nearby, which it looks like there is. Yes, we do have throwing axes here, a couple spears moving in. And even still, the Dinos have not been able to get this objective yet, which is very tough for them. Despite having that big backbreaking engagement there, it hasn't, you know, kind of yielded a lot of the forbidden fruit yet. So Shredder moving back and across, Flock of Doom going down. One of the reasons why the Skink Oracle is pretty decent, I guess. Yeah, at least in this matchup, having an anti-large monster, another source of terror against kind of a low leadership faction. Although Beastmen are definitely harder to break, in my opinion, than like Greenskin battle lines. It's because a lot of their units have Frenzy, but I guess the same case goes for the Greenskins as well. Nice isolation back here. Tim does manage to get a couple Centaurs as well as the Doom Bull, and does find some reinforcements of Hitman Hippo coming in, some Coldland Spear Riders, and he is able to swarm those guys and intercept. And so far, it does look like it's a lot of trouble here for the Dinos to get this objective. There probably will come a point in the game when the kind of attrition and leadership issues for the Beastmen will really come into play. Yeah, Tim is doing an excellent job running down reinforcements. You see every time the Lizardmen try and sneak something in, whether it's their skirmishers or cav, Tim has this huge mobile core of Centaurs in the backfield, and that's really kind of, you know, lore accurate for the Beastmen as well, right? They're just constantly going to be swarming, hitting and running, taking advantage of the weak points in your army. And, you know, Kazrak is, you know, I guess smart by Beastmen standards, but he's all about like ambushing and cunning stuff, right? So middle objective finally going to be flipping. Tim, of course, very good domination fundamentals. Going to be landing the Pestigors and all of his infantry on this point. And now we got Minotaurs with great weapons coming in. But there are a fresh unit of Saurus Spears. Not fresh, but, you know, decent shape. And I think the Shredder and the Spears should be able to handle these Minotaurs pretty easily. We'll have to see. Another terror route going down here. We do see the Centaur start to run. And remember, in Total War, if a unit actually breaks several times, you know, even if it's due to terror, eventually it's just going to be shattering. So there is a limit on that, which I think is like 3. I think you can break 3 times before you shatter. Maybe it's 2. I can't quite remember, but I think it's 3. Anyways, getting old. Nakai going to be moving in, battling it out with the Croxagors, and the Lizardmen probably going to be more than happy to take a big pit fight here with the Shredder of Lestria, but there are a lot more Beastmen nearby. Pestigor is going to be applying poison, Centaur throwing axes nearby, and those damn Butchers of Kalkengard, they're certainly quite the menace. We have a full health spear unit on its way in, which can make a big difference. Instantly terror routes going down. And the Beastmen did have some anti-large Minotaurs here as well. Okay, so we do see the Primal Roar going down, which is going to be giving this bad boy 20% Fizz Res, which is going to make it very tanky. But on top of that, it is relatively surrounded by a lot of Minotaurs with great weapons, which can do a massive amount of damage to that bad boy. So on the outside objectives, we do see some Skink cohorts going for the point. And I think that Hitman Hippo is very aware that he's behind on the objectives and is going to be making a bit of a play for it as the cohort tries to clear them out. On the other side, the Lizards trying their best with some Saurus Warriors, but they're probably going to be defeated by the Centaurs, and they'll put up a good fight considering their numbers, but they will end up losing that fight against a full health Centaur unit. Lizardmen absolutely breaking the back of the Beastmen in that middle fight. You know, as expected, the Shredder of Lustria is such a terror. And when you put it with Nakai, Nakai is going to be giving it ward save and vigor. Its vigor right now is fresh, which is so good at this point in the game. That is so incredibly strong. So Shredder's going to be going hard in the paint, heading over to the west side of the battlefield, or east side, I should say, according to the true minimap. And here we see these skink cohorts trying to grab the point. As far as the objectives go, it is all hands on deck here. Tim is going to be doing his best to scrap the objectives, keep these skinks from arriving up at the point. And he might be able to. I mean, the Pestigores plus these Centaurs probably going to be able to win against a fresh skink unit. That charge brutal damage as the Beastmen unleashing all of their bestial fury. And yeah, wow, look at the HP drop on those skinks. That is very unfortunate. So Nakai going to be heading over with some Saurus. We are probably going to be seeing a Croxagore being left on the middle objective. Over here on this side, man, Hitman Hippo got so close to getting that, but it looks like Tim was able to get there with some Centaurs. So we do see the Centaurs of Tzeentch arriving, which is probably going to be enough to win him the game, right? I don't see how. I mean, I think Hitman Hippo is going to eventually get objective 1 with the Shredder and the Spears and all these units heading over there, yes. But is he going to have enough time to get objective 3? I don't think so. I think that Tim the Wilder just has too much strength over here between the Centaurs of Tzeentch. Although there is another terror-causing monster, maybe if there can be some very fortunate terror routes. But yeah, I can't take all these Beastmen. There are great weapons in here, and Minotaurs, RORs, the Butchers of Kalkengard. That's going to be tough, although the Flock of Doom is very MLG. We have a couple Spear Riders coming in. Now the middle objective is under threat of being captured. Saurus Spears and Nakai going to be maybe getting this one. Yeah, probably so. Centaur is going to be forced off. And now it's very clear that Tim de Wilder is going to be doing some very light pressuring on the middle, but probably going to be focusing all in on objective 3 right now, which the Lizards are making a little bit of progress. The terror routes could do something here. Butchers of Kalkengard are shaken and stirred, so those bad boys are very, very low. But due to the fact that they do cause terror, it makes them immune to terror as well, just like in tabletop. So you actually can't terror out the Butchers of Kalkengard, which is very, very nasty. Skink Oracle trying its best, and the other objective on the outside taken by the Dinos, but I think it's only 25 seconds left here in the game, and I think that is going to be a victory for the Beastmen. What a really, really good scrap, and that's one thing that I really like about Dom is that these kind of varied army tactics are viable at the highest level. These are two of the best players in the world duking it out. They both won major events, like major events, you know, kind of the pro gamer equivalent, right, of Total War Warhammer, and the fact that Lizards can go super wide if they want to in that matchup, you know, they can do a wide objective style with a lot of Saurus. They can just kind of infantry spam, use healing, kind of the traditional Saurus warrior with a little bit of poke from Salamanders backed up by a Life Slant and maybe some, you know, monster support, Feral Cold Ones, whatever. Or they can go super elite, and a monster like the Shredder of Lustria can be good. Skink Oracle also got 1900. Nakai with the blessed 69. That's what she said. You gotta love it. But overall, yeah, it was a really, really fun match. And Tim's mobility was able to win out the day. You know, and the thing is, that was like close enough, right? If Hitman maybe didn't relinquish that side objective and had sent that Saurus over there, there's a chance he wins that game too. So that was a great contested match between these mighty champions. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one, and we will see you all on the other side.